Hello, hope everyone's having a good night. Tonight we're going to be mapping the apartment complex. It shouldn't take too long. It usually doesn't. Thing that usually takes the longest time is figuring out how many textures you want to actually use. Uh, Buildings this size will definitely have multiple textures. Things like clothing or cars or animals, they'll usually just have one texture. Sometimes you'll use more than one on a car. It depends on how detailed you want it or if it has accessories attached to it. But architectural buildings usually have anywhere from 4 to 8 textures just in the diffuse channel. You'll have one for the doors, one for the walls, one for the frames. You'll have one for the floors, ceilings, any kind of terrace or balconies. You might add a different one. Um, you'll have one with the stairs and a railing. Yeah, one for the roof. We like to use as little amount of textures as possible on a single object. So we're going to try to figure out how many we absolutely have to have before we even start adding them to the UV islands. So just looking at this, we know we're going to need a ceiling texture because we're going to be using a lot of tiling textures. And what I mean by tiling textures are just like what's on there right now. Um, the texture itself is actually one block. It fills the entire texture island. As I'll show you right here. It's actually one tile that fills the entire island. But the UV map of the object spreads out far beyond the island, which causes it to tile, like seen here. It tiles for infinity in each direction, whatever's in that little island. So anything outside of that will have the same repeating textures, whatever's in the island. And by island, I mean, of course, this little square area right here. So we'll do tiling textures for the walls, probably some sort of concrete tiling texture for the terrace and the steps. The ceiling will have a different texture than the floors, so it will have its own tiling texture. Um, the stairs, I could probably give the stairs the same concrete tiling texture as this. The handrails, I've not decided on those yet. And the roof, it will likely also be a concrete tiling texture. This this building itself kind of reminds me of a sort of almost a resort or a hotel type building you would see on the beach in Florida. That's what I'm imagining it as. Even though it's an apartment building, I guess it would work as an apartment building too. It would work just as well as a hotel, I believe. Um, Before we do that, though, I may decide to alter a few things. I want to look at them first. Delete that for now. We're going to hide the roof. And that's the top ceiling. That has no holes in it. I need to rename that top ceiling. Now when I import this into the game engine, Well, after I unwrap these floors here, each set of walls and windows and everything, I'll multiply this up. And all this would be the second and third floor, or third and fourth floor will be proxied. Meaning it won't show up in Object Builder, but it will show up in the game engine. And Arma. It's because it is just a little bit above budget as far as points go. Because it's such a large building and it has so many doors. But after this is mapped and I copy them up, each one of them will have the same map. So it's just be a repeating thing. So we're going to go ahead and hide this. We're going to go to top view. And we're going to hide the steps and the railing. And we're going to hide this bottom ground floor that we can see down there. That way we can see where the holes are at. You can see the floors sticking out like that, which I do need. However, I'm going to, well, let's hide this ceiling as well. What I'd like to do is make that part, just the part that sticks out inside the elevator shafts on each side, and the stairwells a separate type of object. I'm doing that because if I just took those out, there would be a gap between the two levels of the walls. Now you could change that if you want, but you'd still have a seam right there where the textures are obviously different. So I just want to leave that little ledge where it's at. But I'm going to use the cut tool to cut that piece out because it's going to be concrete also. These little ledges. But I don't want the whole floor itself to be concrete. And if I use the tiling texture on the floor, it would just tile all the way around that ledge. I wouldn't be able to alter it anyway. So what we're going to do in this case is just go to vertex mode, cut, and I've already UV unwrapped this, but floors, if I have to UV unwrap it again, it's no big deal. It's a floor. I'm just going to cut line to line inside the walls. And I'm going to drop a point right here. I'm going to drop a point, and I'll clean this up after I get done cutting it out. It's going to require quite a bit of cleanup. We're going to go back to top. We're just going to cut this one out too. Start about right there. Go to that line. Oops. And we're going cut it on over to here. Same thing up here. Right there. And bring it back over here. And down there. Okay. Now we'll start right here. Come on down to here. Out to here. Okay. And turn off cut. What we're going to do is isolate this selection. As you can see, it looks pretty rough. But we're about to fix that when we go to polygon. And we're just going to go back to top view. Or select everything inside those boxes that we just cut out. That should select the bottom and the top and the insides. Top view. Hold control and do the same thing up here. Hold control. We may need to cut that again. Let's go ahead and do that first. We're going to cut that from here to here. Go back to poly. And we'll select these guys. And these guys. We'll detach those. And we'll call this concrete underscore ledges. May attach them to something else that's going to be concrete tiled like the Terrence. But for now, while we clean it up, we'll just do it like that. First of all, we're going to unisolate. We're going to select just the floor, and we're going to re-isolate. That way we get rid of those parts. We can just focus on getting this optimized. And I will have to remap this. We're going to be messing up the map a little bit. I'm going to pull these out. This will save us a few polygons, even though it created a few, so it will turn out about the same. This polygon will disappear. But you see how it's messing up the UV map? Or the unwrap of it, the texture on it. Anytime you alter something that's been unwrapped, it will likely do things like this. But that's okay, because it's just a flat floor. And it's literally just a quick planar map to get it back. I can get rid of that. Let's unisolate and go to top view so we can make sure we don't get these verts outside the walls. as we're welding them together. I think this one will be fine. I do it the other way. It's about the same. Target weld. Target weld. Well, that's only 4 poly or 4 edges in that poly, but yeah, we'll just leave it like it is. I believe that's everything. We'll double check. No, I didn't do these. I believe that's got it now. We can check by switching straight to vertex mode and checking the number of the vertex selected at each corner. Just one. Vertex number 21, 22. Just to clean that up a little bit, make it a little straighter. Doesn't really matter. But it's always better to have a cleaner geometry if you can. Okay, there is our new floors. And to map it, we'll just isolate it. Unwrap UVW. As you can see, it's pretty twisted now. It doesn't look like that at all. So all I'm going to do is go poly mode, select everything again, and hit quick, turn off normalized map, then hit quick planar map, and that sorts it back out. We haven't decided on a resolution yet. But basically what tiling mapping does, use a tiling texture. This is one tile of the floor, of a tiled floor. And you can make that tile, 128 pixels by 128 pixels. And it's not going to lose resolution. Or, 256 by 256. And it's going to be really, really high res because one tile is going to be 250 pixels. But the texture itself is so small that it saves a lot of memory when it loads. One moment. Okay. So I'm going to collapse that since we got that redone. And unisolate. We're going to grab these guys and just double check them. Isolate them because we may have to remap them as well. They require a little cleanup also though. So we'll clean them up first. Now doing this, in most game engines you wouldn't do this, what I'm doing here, just making little triangles. But since ARM is probably going to turn everything to triangles anyway, that will save me a triangle off my budget. Because if it was a quad right there, it would be 2 triangles. But Arma can work in quads and tris, so we'll just put it as try. It doesn't decrease our poly count, but it decreases our try count. And we'll have to remap this also because you can see the lines of the block going funky directions. So before we can wrap it, we'll have to re-unwrap it. Some of this, like this part, there's a triangle there. It counts as a polygon and a try. But when we connect these two, it lowers it by a polygon and a try. This part, I'm going to have to grab it and move it back out a little. I'm going to go back to target weld. I believe that's all of it. Okay. So now we'll go in and re-unwrap this. You get little things like that every now and then when you're wrapping and unwrapping and getting ready to map them and stuff that you want to change just to make it the textures look better, and that's okay. You've seen how long it takes. It doesn't really take that long to change something minor like this. I'm just going to put them all next to each other. Just grab all the tops. They are burning up my email tonight. Thought everybody was in bed. That's why I was streaming. Not that I don't like people watching, but you know, not constantly getting poked on TeamSpeak. normalized map off, flatten it out. There she is. And we'll do the same with the bottom. So we'll just move that back where I found it. And then we'll do the bottom. Top and bottom will overlap. Let's do the insides first. All this side. Knock that. Miss these guys. That. All these guys. You notice I'm not grabbing these and these. That's because if I grab both of those and quick planar map them like this, these would actually be flipped. And when I went to attach them, when I went to stitch them to the top pieces, they would stitch the wrong direction and I'd have to flip them back. So it's just easier to do it all the same, facing normals. You can see what way the normals are facing by the pointing out right there. But if I selected one of these, the normals would go kind of funky. The plane would stay the same, but the normals would compensate for that flip side. I believe I've done it 4 times, haven't I? Grab one of these and look. Yes. Well, that's odd. Why are they so small compared to everything else? It's not working like it should. There we go. Now it's larger. There we go. It must have secretly turned back on my normalized map. Don't know why I did that. We'll do this again. Only takes a moment. Not like we're trying to paint a happy little tree here. And we'll just go in here. We're gonna stitch all these inside this little bucket. Stitch, stitch, stitch. Keep them all together. It would break a seam. It will prevent a seam from forming on this top edge. Not that it makes a lot of difference in this case, because this will rarely be seen. I assume most people will probably take the elevator, and if they see this part of the texture, they'll probably be standing on the stairs looking down at it. Did I miss one? Nope, there it is. Now we're going to unwrap the bottom, which if we select all the bottom, Oops. Quick plan map that. And what happened there? Oh, now we have it selected. We could just right click and flip it vertically. That should line up pretty well with that. There shouldn't be anything left in the middle, and there's not. That's good. That means that is unwrapped. Where we're going to put it, we'll put it way off in the up here. I have stuff scattered all over the place. It's hard to remember because it's been a few days. Because I wasn't feeling well. It's hard to remember where I put everything. Okay. So that's our floor. We're going to hide that. This is our ceiling. We're going to hide that. Likely, the window frames will also have a tiling texture. As will the door frames. Make sure the door frames are all together. Control click. Control click. I got all the elevators. Yeah. Okay. Okie dokie. May get rid of those. It looks like I've gotten rid of them from the other place. So, door frames and the window frames will have an identical texture. So I got all frames. I am missing a door frame right there. Not good. Not good at all. First of all, let's hide this guy. That's a first floor door frame. We're missing one there too. Okay, it's the same side though. What we're going to do, we're going to take one of these longer ones. Just grab it by element. And we're going to pull it in because it's already mapped. Clone to object. I just got to find it. I'm not sure what just happened. We'll try that again. There we go. Grab that little feller. Pull him in. Reset the pivot to centered object. We're going to rotate him exactly 90 degrees. And move him into place. Top view. He needs to go. I may see another problem. They arise when you start looking at your model in depth. Now, that's what I was making a door frame for, wasn't it? Right there. Those places. Just zoom in here, make sure we get it frame inside the wall. I don't recommend you doing this either, but these door frames are likely going to be a solid color, so it doesn't matter too much. I won't have to remap them or unwrap them. I keep saying the wrong thing, I'm sorry. But yeah, I see a problem that needs a little solving right there. No, oh, the floor will be there. Okay. I don't know why I was thinking that. I'm not thinking straight, I guess. There's the door frames. We're going to attach those to the first floor door frames, which would be here. Door frame 01, attach object 1 and 2. Okay. So now we'll grab all the door frames and the window frames. Drink responsibly, people. We're going to isolate these guys. Yeah, you can see how many door frames and window frames there are in this building. It's over 5,000 verts worth of just frames. This is why I didn't have baseboards. Would have been a little much for a building this complex with this many rooms on each floor. So what we're going to do is we're going to add UV unwrap right on top. Zoom out, and it's got everything, and we got a little overlapping right there, but I think I can fix that. Oh, back up. I already got it selected. Cool. Oh no, I don't have the whole of it selected. What are these guys? I believe those are these guys. Yeah. We'll just grab those, move those out of the way. So, you know, it's not too complicated. This is obviously the windows, the window frame. This is the regular door frame. This, oh, you kiss my ass. I don't know what that is. Oh, that is the elevator door frame. And this is the little dividers that go between the doors inside the frame. So we're just going to try to fit it all in here, just in case we want to add texture to it later on. We can, you know, add some damage or whatever. This was the post-apocalyptic, but luckily this is going to be a solid color, so this isn't going to get much attention. Would that fit in there? Holy crap, it would. Well, let's do that. Just pull that up out of there. There we go. Square enough. make sure we don't have anything left in here. Always double check that, or else you can get degenerate mapping coordinates. It's gonna be a pain in the ass to find. Okay, we're almost there. We'll just put a corner in. We're actually going to pull this up here and rotate it so it just fits in there. Grab everything, put it there. Now we can shrink it down. Hold control so it stays proportional. And just yeah, I'm not really setting this up for a tiling texture. This is more of a just a solid color type deal. Could be added some fancy texture stuff into it in the future, but it doesn't really need to be tiling. 1024 is probably a little big for this. That's probably fine. You want your characters to be at 2048. Generally, anything larger than your characters you would want to be at 4096. Say twice as large as your characters, like building walls and stuff like that. You would want to be at 4096. But Arma don't let you go up that high, so everything's stuck at 2048 or lower. Which is why tiling textures helps a lot. So we'll just render this out. And that pops up this little window, which has my line work on it. And if I save it as a PNG, the black background will go away and it would just be my line work. I can put whatever color background I want on there to work with. And a separate layer. Okay, we'll make a new folder called UVs. I'll call this win_door. Win_door_frame. Damn. .png. That saves the black background is transparent. Which makes it easy to overlay this over any texture you're painting, so you can paint with inside the lines inside of Photoshop. Okay, and we're gonna collapse 2. That one's mapped. We're going to unisolate it, and we're going to hide it. Now we're going to do both sets of walls at one time. Now the reason we're doing both sets of walls at the same time is because you have an obvious difference in height between the first one and the second one, but you want the texture resolution to be exactly the same. So we're going to have to scale them to where this will fit, this will stick up a little more than this will on the tiling texture. And I think I want to use 2 probably textures for the walls. The reason I'm doing that is the exterior will have its own texture, The entranceways of the first floor will have its own texture, and the hallways of the second will be on that texture. And the inside the apartments and the bedroom will be on their own texture, and the bathrooms will have like a tiling texture, like a tile texture. Probably a grungy tile. So we're just going to isolate these guys. And add a UV on top. Unwrap UV. You could probably get to this editor other ways, but that's just the way I know for sure. Now, not exactly sure what's going on here. You have to give me a minute. It's been a few days. I believe those are the elevators for the first floor. And this is the elevators and stairwells for the second floors. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we'll put all the matching pieces together. And we got to make sure we click and drag, because if we just select all these guys, you'll notice where we've done symmetry before that there's should be one underneath also. Yeah, see. So if we click and drag, we select them all. Put all those together. And you can see the height difference there. But that's okay. We'll keep it in proportion so the door frames are the same height and everything. So that will keep the resolution the same. So we'll scale it all at the same time. Now these are the stairwells for the second floor. These are the stairwells for the first floor. These are the bathrooms because they have no windows. Those need to be deleted. Bathrooms, put up here. I believe these are the bathrooms for the second floor. And that's an exterior. As is that one. That's the living rooms, I believe. I'm wrong. That's the exterior. This is the hall and entrance. These are the halls and the inside of the entrance, so we got to take all these guys. And now we're just getting them all to where they're in the same spots. And I believe this is the hall to the upstairs. Yes, that's an elevator, and that's an elevator. So this is the living rooms. And those are the smaller ones, so that should be the living rooms. Okay, we're almost done. Bathroom, or bedrooms, and bedrooms. Now here's where it gets a tiny bit complicated. Let's start with the exterior walls down here at the bottom. We're going to select these guys. What we want to do is we want to line up the bottoms equally, just in case there's baseboard or arm rails or whatever other features on the outside that aren't just a complete tiling texture in all directions, in just two directions. If you tile it in two directions, like we'll probably do with the outside, it will just go side to side. So we want to zoom in as far as we can to make sure these two bottom lines are overlapping. And you get too close and it starts lagging up. So we'll zoom out a little more at a time. A little more. Ugh. Ugh. Okay. If you want to move this off of each other, you can hold shift and it should move it straight. It won't let you go up and down. It will let you snap up and down, but it's a pretty good distance. So those are lined up. Now we got to line up the rest of these guys. Start up here. Hold shift and pull it off. You don't usually have to do this because the actual seam, the break in the texture, will be inside a door frame. So no one will be able to tell if there's actually any misalignment from the two insides. And these are in separate apartments anyway. But I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to stuff like this. I like to do it right. These will have a sort of a rubbery baseboard, like a really cheap looking rubbery baseboard on them. It's a ghetto apartment, so on the higher end apartments they'll actually have baseboards and crown molding and all that. These apartments were made on the cheap. Government housing type deal. Okay. Out. Deselect that by holding Alt. Grab the next set. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take all these that we already lined up and just line them up the other way. Forgot all these were broken apart too. I'm sure they're not lined up either. And then I'll just grab the next one. Either way works. Could have started the first one, or you could do it like I just did. Start in the middle. Doesn't really matter. You'll achieve the same results. Those are actually almost there anyway. Okay, there's living rooms. Okay, let's line up the exteriors, or the interior entranceways and the hallways here. This is only 2 pieces, so we have the bedrooms, the bathrooms, the elevators, and the stairwells left. Go ahead and do the stairwells. It's only 2 pieces. And shift works both ways. If you start dragging up and down, it will keep it on the y-axis. Or if you start dragging left to right, it will keep it on the x-axis for the most part. And like I said, you could drag it a good distance and it will snap up and down after you've started moving left and right. You have to drag it a pretty good distance before it to snap up. Not a lot different in Photoshop. I think perhaps as long as these are lined up, we could just stack these guys. They are all on the same floor. They are the same size, or should be. Same with these fellers here. This has an extra doorway, but nothing in the doorway. That's odd. Not sure what that guy's doing there. Let's just drag him back down a little. Hold shift to pull him down. Okay. Back to poly mode. Put these back together. Side to side. Doesn't matter much because the interiors aren't actually connected anywhere. As long as the top and bottom is pretty damn close. I'm not sure how I did that just now, but it moved. Just gonna back up a couple. Move it back up. These guys. line. Okay. Out. So 2 more and the walls will be done. I just have to split them up how we like them. Gonna have some sort of concrete block interior probably, and we could probably do the same with this. So these could be on the same part of the texture. Now what I'm gonna do is, yes, I have multiple textures here. Just for the walls, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different objects, but we're not going to use 7 different textures. What we could do is we could split this little box, because we're tiling on the x-axis instead of x and y-axis, so it's just going to be tiling straight across. We could split this into thirds or halves even if we want higher resolution. Which I think we could do thirds on a part of it, and we'll do halves on another part. Like the exterior will probably be halves, and the interior will be with like the living room. So we're probably looking at 3 textures for this, the walls themselves. Hopefully not. I might be able to get it down to 2, but we'll see. We shall see. These lined up first. We'll figure that out. Okay. You put you over here. This is pretty boring work, but this will make your model look a lot better. They always look better with textures on them. And the higher res the texture you can use, the more amazing it looks, especially when you're adding things like normal mapping, specular. If you can get displacement mapping in the engine that you're using, it could look amazing if you're using like a rock formations and things, like flat stone structures. Can really pop out at you. Okay. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The first floor is only 4. The rest of the floors are 8 living rooms per floor, or 16 to be exact. There's one underneath each one of these too. Like I said, they're all disconnected. None of them are connected to the other, so you could have them overlapping if you want. But if I ever decide to come back and paint each room, it would add a ton of textures, but you know, it may look good to have each room completely unique for like a presentation, or you know, whatever you wanted to do with it. And really, that's it, just as easy as breaking it off from the main piece and giving it a different texture, or giving it a different material ID, which you can do and use a multi-sub object material instead of a standard material. Not sure if Arma is capable of that. From what I've read, it has the potential to do it using RV mats, but I still don't know how that works in Arma. It's pretty standard in the other engines I worked with. That's what you generally use all the time is multi-sub-object materials. Which lets you add multiple textures and normal maps and everything to one single object without having to break it up. You can have a car with a television in it, and it all be one single object and have 50 different textures, you know. In Arma, however, it doesn't work that way. That I found. If anybody watching this knows a way to do that, I'd be happy to hear it. Because I would make this whole thing one giant object if I could. I think it just makes it easier in a lot of respects. Okay. What we have left is the bathrooms. Grabbed a whole lot of them. The bottoms up of those. It's doing some weird stuff, so I'm gonna go ahead and save. There we go. Just in case it crashed on me, it's been doing it a little bit lately. Deselect. I have no problem splitting all these apartments into separate objects if we decide to do that later on. So people can maybe request their own unique paint job for their personal apartments, or you know, maybe somebody wants a pink bathroom. I don't know if the rest of the team would go for that, but I don't mind doing things like that. It makes it personal, and it you know, gives the gamers something unique that they came up with. That's in the game that they play, and that makes the game so much more enjoyable. If you ask me, just owning property makes games more enjoyable. I used to play Baldur's Gate 2. I know, I'm a nerd. If you don't know what that is, it's an old RPG for PC that was based on Dungeons and Dragons and Forgotten Realms. And it, in it, I spent hundreds and hundreds of hours playing it and replaying it, because in it you would actually eventually get your own keep and be the lord of your own keep. And that was just extremely fun for me just to sit there and wait for people to come in with their complaints and stuff and me try to fix them and raise taxes and lower taxes and have something that felt like it was my own home kind of thing inside a game. But being able to customize something to your likes that everybody else can see, that was even better. When you get into games like Ultima Online, when they started, you could set down your own house and you could decorate your own house, and eventually you could even create your own house with your own style in that game, and people come around look at them, and there'd be competitions on who decorated the best and who built the best looking house, and it was just all good fun. It felt like something you had created inside the game. You had contributed. It was yours. So if they'll let me, I don't mind going in here and every update or two that we do unique custom stuff for players, because the development team creates the game, but the community keeps it alive. Without the community, then there's no one playing the game, no one seeing what we worked so hard to create, no one enjoying what we created. It's the community that keeps us going. And by doing so, they keep the game going. Okay, here we go. Now we got to figure out where we want what. Now I know we want the exterior pretty decent resolution, so we're going to say that's a half and half. The hallways and the entranceways, we're going to want them pretty decent resolution as well. They're right here. That didn't move, did it? It looks like it moved. I don't know if I ever lined those up. Oh, shoot. Shoot. I think those are already pretty lined up, though. That was pretty close. Just this guy down here. Two guys on the end giving me troubles. All right. Yeah, I think they want the inside hallways and stuff as high res as. Let's just count it up. I might be able to do it in two textures. Don't have to be extremely high res. I can make it a 2048, and it would still be pretty high res for the textures we could put on it. Don't crash. Back up. Back up some more. Back up some more. That's close enough. Okay. Let's see what we got. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But these guys can go together. The stairwells and inside the I don't know what's going on with that. It's odd. Doesn't really matter. It's inside the elevator shaft, so it's probably never going to get seen anyway. Stairwell is the only one that's going to get seen more than likely. Put them together. So that gives us 6. 6 textures. Now we could do remaps with 2 on each. We could do one map with 2, one map with 4. Or we could do 2 maps with 3 each. I want it higher than 3. I want it at least 1,000 pixels up and down for the outside. So we're going to look at these guys. And probably these guys. Those guys? No. These guys. The hallways. Get them up pretty close. Technically, be easier. It will be easier if I move these guys to the other end. I can grab this. My interiors are on top, my exteriors are on the bottom. We can get them pretty close. I like that. What we're going to do with these is we're going to grab them all. And that's going to be one map tiled that way. Be 1,000 pixels up and down of each one. So 2048. And this is the living rooms and the bedrooms and the bathrooms. Question is, are we going to use the brick on anything else that I'm going to be using here? The concrete block. Could just do a straight concrete, just like I did with the, or what to do with the Terrence. But that'd be kind of plain. So we're definitely not splitting it to a quarter. Quarter would be too low resolution. That'd be 512. And having something that's 512 resolution as tall as a player doesn't look good. Like I said, you want it 2048 if you can, but because of these texture restrictions, that's the highest we can go. Anything the size of a player, you want 2048. So. But we're doing 1024. It's not my fault. I didn't make Armor Ascension. Apparently the people at Bohemia, whatever, never took a class in textile density. Okay, we're going to do the living room and bedrooms on the same map. Actually, what we're going to do we're going to give the living rooms and the bedrooms the same freaking paint job texture. I'll line them up at the end too. We can always come back and change it later. Trying to keep the textures low. said, it's common to get 4 to 8. And this isn't going to be too many. I think I used 7 for the bank, 7 or 8 for the bank, because it has so many different aspects. And we could go ahead and put these two together. The brick. No. We'll put this with the wall, interior walls. So these will be 1024 as well. So the living rooms and the bathrooms will be together. And the brick. You know what? We may do it different. We may do the elevator shafts with the concrete type texture and concrete block in the stairwell. So we'll do that. So we're up to 3 textures for the walls, which isn't bad because it's 2 unique floors. The second floor is repeated many times, but the first floor is unique from the second floor. Now, before we could go any further with this, we'll have to break it apart. Because like I said, if I could use multi-sub-object materials, I could leave it like it is and just grab these guys, assign them a material ID 2. I grab these guys, assign them material ID 3. But Arma, we're going to have to break these apart. Separate objects. So the hallways, the entranceways, and the exterior will be one object. The bedrooms and the living rooms will be their own object. The bedrooms, living rooms, and bathrooms. Okay, so each apartment will be its own object, and the stairwells and the elevator shaft will be its own object. So we'll go ahead and break these up. We'll collapse 2. So it saves the progress. And first we'll add a poly modifier on top. Now we'll do this separate. It's wall 01, wall 002. We're about to change a little bit of that. Okay, we're gonna grab all these guys. We shift click there. It's not letting us. By shift clicking this way. It's not letting us do that either. We have to do it manually all the way around. Pain in the ass, right? Let's go ahead and, before we do this, unisolate, and we'll re-isolate this. So we can get to those interior walls easier. And continue on around. Now, I would normally suggest collapsing your symmetry on any building that has symmetry on it before you unwrap it. But I can always go in and move the UV layouts just a little bit left or right to line the bricks up where it might be misaligned right here in the middle where it merged. right here in the center where the symmetry was. Because my UV, there's a seam right there where my UV, they're overlapping. And although the first one will probably be all right, the wall next to it might get a little off on the left or right, but I could always move it left or right to compensate. Okay, entranceways are also part of the exteriors. They're on the same UV map. And the hallways. And I believe these parts also. Ends. And these ends. And this is an entranceway also. Okay. Now, I know I'm missing some pieces already. This guy. And of course, all 6 of these guys. Okay, and this is an entranceway. Doop. Doop, doop, doop. Doop. And this is an entranceway. Doop, 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 doop. And this end over here. Finish it. Okay, let's make sure I got all the hallway on both sides. I did not. Didn't think I did. Have our main entrance, their back entrances, their side entrance, and our other side entrance. I believe that's it. And apparently not. Forgot this side. Okay. I'm gonna just detach this. Let's make sure I got all the exterior. Just double check on these bump outs here. Yep. We'll detach it and we'll call this wall ground. Okay. Now the apartments are already separated into theirs. We need the stairwells and the elevator shafts. Stairwell, elevator shaft. Not too worried about the way that doorway is going to look because the outer elevator doors will open and the inner elevator doors on the elevator itself will be there also. So it's doubtful you're ever going to see this little gap except from the outside. But I do want to delete those bottoms right there. The floor take care of that. Okay. Okay, it's both stairwells. That's all four. Looks like. Okay, we're going to detach. We'll call this stair, alley, ground. Actually, we'll call this wall. DA, alley, ground. I'm going to go ahead and grab these guys. Oh shit, I missed a piece. I'll have to redetach that, attach it, and weld it. It happens. You can check by grabbing the exterior walls like this and pulling it out and looking at it and then hitting undo. Missed all of those guys apparently. Not just the one. On that side on both of them. These two fellas right here. Okay, so let's re-grab this. Grab these two polys. Second. That one's not attached. So what's that attached to? I attached that to the wrong thing. So we'll grab it from him. And we'll detach. We'll just detach the object one. I'll grab him. We'll detach it to a separate object. And then we'll go to our wall exterior cover and all that and attach that and that. We'll go grab these verts. Should be 2 there. There's 4 there. I grabbed them all, didn't I? Yeah, deselect those. 2, so we'll just weld, and it's drops 1/3. And we'll do the same down here. 2, weld, 2, weld, 2, weld. There, all better. Exterior walls are done. Doors and stairs. Stairs and elevators are done. And that means that our apartments interiors should be done. Also the offices, apparently. Let's toss an unwrap modifier because I don't remember seeing those. They're mixed in with everything else. We'll just go in there and check. See if they're lined up with everything else. And they are. They're just way down here. The second floor apparently is in between them. They're lined up. Make sure that was them, actually. No, they're down here. Okay. That kind of works too. So I'm not sure why they're like split up right there. There we go. They're stacked right here. So yeah. Okay. We're going to name this walls and ground. I'll take that off there. Okay. I apologize. This is the hardest part, so just bear with me a little bit. Just getting all these walls situated. We'll move on up here. We'll isolate this guy. And obviously the interior is a lot more complicated on this floor. So we'll do it the same way. We'll do the exterior, then we'll do the elevator shafts and the stairwells together, and that will leave just the interiors by themselves. Okay, so we'll start right here and just work our way around. Well, that kind of worked. If you shift click, it will usually select everything in the loop. Where it isn't a solid loop, I have holes in it, it's not going to work entirely as intended. So I still have to select everything manually, which could be a pain. But hands-on here, you know. Not the kind of sculpting stuff that I'm used to, but it's architectural stuff. And of course, if the engine was capable, I would make this a lot better. That extra line right there. But I'm not going to remove it because that will mess up my UV layouts. And, you know, one extra poly on each side isn't going to make a difference. Yeah, if the engine was capable of more, I would add a lot more architectural detail to these things. You know, maybe rounded top windows and like I said before, baseboards, crown molding, and fancier door frames and actual door handles instead of that crappy stuff I had to settle for because there's so many doors in this. And this should have been done a month and a half ago. So I'm in kind of a hurry to get it over with, to get it out there. Scripters putting in the proper scripts so people can take ownership of these apartments as soon as they get in game. Okay, got that all the way around. Now we only need the hallway to come with this. Just go ahead and grab these right here. It'll let me. Sometimes it clicks straight through because it's the back facing. We'll give it a shot. Less turning. We have to do. Looks like it worked out all right. This guy's not making any sense though. Let's check him. Okay, he's fine. Click here. That guy. That one. Grab all those. Grab all these. That guy. Still gonna have to turn it a little bit. Crap down here at the bottom. This. Grab. Do. Click. Click. A lot of click. Okay, is that everything? Now we just grab the rest of the elevator pieces. Doorway. And then these guys. Okay, I believe that's got it. Check, make sure I got all the bottom pieces. Top pieces of the hallway. Exteriors. Detach. We'll call this wall exterior. Call 2+. Because it's the second floor and every floor above that. Now we're gonna grab this one I just detached. We're gonna check it just to make sure. We're just gonna pull it up. Make sure it's solid exterior. Didn't leave nothing out. Solid hallway. don't want to find out that we messed something up later on down the road. Have to go all the way back to fix it. It looks good though. We'll go back here. And we're grabbing elevators. Okay. Pew, 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 pew. And stairwells. And this should have it. We're gonna detach, call this walls. SDALE 2 plus. Okay, let's grab those, pull those out and check them. Everything. And then we grab these guys. Just gonna pull those up and look at them real quick. There's a mistake. Did not notice. We'll have to fix that. Okay. One mistake. And the others. Nothing obvious. Okay, good. Good. So we'll grab this guy. Attach him. Okay. We're going to rename this while we're here. We're going to call this walls int 2 plus. Okay, and then we're going to grab the exterior walls and we're going to attach Mr. Lonely Man here. And same deal. We're going to grab 2 verts, weld, 2 verts, weld, 2 here, weld, 2 here, weld. Because I detached it, it became its own object. And that's its own element. But now it's one element again. One element again. It's also a good way to check it. Click the elements. Because it's a seamless object. It will be one element. As long as it's attached itself somewhere. Okay, there's the second floor done. So what we're going to do first is we're going to map these guys. Unwrap. We're going to map them together. Keep the resolution the same, just like I said before. Now that all that's separated and out of the way, we already have them all stacked together right here. I'm going to grab them. And we're going to want to fit them top down inside this box to make it tiling left to right. That won't look as good as if, I could use actual nice textures, but it'll be something. It's a different type of tiling than what we're doing for the floors and the ceilings. Floors and the ceilings should be a beautiful resolution. Walls will be decent. As good as you can get, really, with Arma. By about half. You could get bigger, but you'd need a lot more textures. Oops. Already about that size. It's okay. Let's put it in the corner here. And we're going to go this way with it. Do. Raise you up a little, but as high as you can go. That's probably good. We could leave it like that if we want, but I want to actually put it like so. Doesn't really matter. I mean, you could put it off of the freaking island if you want. Because what's going to happen here is the texture is going to have the exterior texture on its bottom half and the interior texture on its top half. And it's going to tile that way to the right. It will actually tile left and right infinitely, but we only need to tile right, really. The way we got it set up, and we're going to set this to 2048. No, we're not. You can always decrease the size of a texture, but it's really hard to unpixelate it when you increase it. So we're going to start 4096. You can always make it smaller inside Photoshop before you add it to your object. I think Arma will actually make it smaller for you. Pain in the ass. We're going to save this as walls _ exterior, because this is the top and the bottom floor exteriors. Has a PNG. We'll save. We'll close that, close that, close that, collapse that. Oh yes. Okay, now we'll just grab the stairs and elevators here on both floors, and we'll unwrap those. Sorry, we'll map those. And actually, this is the hardest part to map, is these walls. The rest of it really won't take any time at all. And Mike asked me the other day how long it would take me to re-unwrap and map the floor of the bank, and I told him literally 10 minutes tops. And that's the truth, and you'll see in a moment. I mean, you've already seen me unwrap the ceiling. Just quick planar texture, one quick planar map button, and then you just size it to whatever size you want for the resolution. So it's going to be adjusted anytime. Can be adjusted anytime. These, on the other hand, the walls, where they're not infinite in all directions, they can't really be adjusted unless we separate them into separate textures of their own. Then we can make them as big or small as we want. But that looks good. That looks good. We're going to have elevator shaft, stairwell. We're going to unwrap that, same texture, size, 4096. Save. We'll call this, what do we call this? Walls, STALE .png. And we close. Well, let it finish saving. And we close. Close. Collapse. Yes. Now we'll grab the apartments, both floors, and we'll map them. Okay. Where are you at, boys? So there they are. Go to poly mode. Grab them all. There's nothing in the middle there. Okay, grab them all. We're gonna bring them down. Hey, give me that. Freeform tool is so much easier sometimes because it goes kind of outside the box. It's easier to grab points. Zoom way in. Shrink her down. Bigger. Mark is kind of a wide object. Okay, it's getting pretty close. Let's just take it down just a little more. And have to go just a little more, but we're going to do that this way. Not want to shrink very fast like that, is it? That's too low. Okay, we'll suck it way over here because it's such a long. It's a little more difficult to work with because it's so long. See what I mean? It goes wider much faster than it goes taller. Actually, that's pretty close. Just a little tiny bit more. Right about there. And we're going to deselect the top. So we're going to push up just a little more. Lined up here. Deselect the top. Easier to deselect that than the big long one at the bottom. We're going to pull those apart just a little bit. It's easier to work with. Pull further down. That's that. That's the living room, bedrooms, and bathrooms. We're going to go render UV template. 4096, 4096. Render. Save. We'll call this walls int.png. And hope that worked. Check. Don't believe so. I don't know what happened just now. I think I hit an extra button somewhere. From overriding walls and PNG. Yeah, I mean, I don't see it on there, but okay. See if it's on there. Oh man, I broke something, didn't I? What are you doing? Okay. And then cancel that second one. And yeah, it's right there. Okay, okay. I freaked it out. My bad. My bad. We could close you.